we'll start and hope that the fifth commissioner joins us momentarily. But since we have a quorum, we can begin. Good evening. Welcome and thank you for joining us for tonight's meeting of the Orinda Planning Commission on Wednesday, November 12th. Odd night, but nonetheless, here we are. In the back of the room, there's a table where you can find copies of tonight's agenda, the staff reports, and the request to speak cards for items that will be heard tonight. At the dais to my right, in front of the commissioner's table, you will place the request to speak cards in the tray if you'd like to speak to the commission this evening. Once we begin the public hearing portion of the meeting, each item will be announced with a brief description of what is being proposed. After any general questions by the commission to staff, the public hearing will be opened and anyone wishing to speak to the commission on this item will be invited to do so. When your name is called, please come to the speaker podium at the front, again here to my right. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to speak. Once everyone wishing to speak has made their comments, the public hearing will then be closed and we will bring the matter up here to the commission for discussion. If you will be speaking to us this evening, please be sure to make all of your comments when you come to the podium. As a courtesy to all of us, comments made from the audience during testimony or during commission deliberation will not be allowed and will not be included as part of the public record. I should note that if you're the applicant, you don't need to submit a speaker card, and we'll get into that when we get into the actual item. First item on the agenda tonight is the roll call. I'd like to note that we have Commissioners Doctors, myself Hubner, Commissioner Marola, and Commissioner Schmidt in attendance. We're hoping for Commissioner Jelnick, but we still have a quorum. Commissioner Davis has an excused absence, and because of the circle drawn around the project on the agenda tonight, Commissioner Armstrong, Vice Chairman Commissioner Armstrong is absent due to being recused for living within 500 feet of the property. Planning Director, are there any changes to tonight's agenda?
I do not have any.
Perfect. If not, since there are not, I'd like to move forward with tonight's agenda. Do we have a motion to adopt the agenda?
I move to adopt tonight's agenda.
Thank you. A second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor of adopting tonight's agenda, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion has approved unanimously, 4-0. First item on tonight's agenda beyond that is the, is the public forum. The public forum is an opportunity for anyone to address the Planning Commission on items that are not listed on tonight's agenda. If there's anyone who would like to address the commission on an item that is not currently on tonight's agenda, please fill out a request to speak card, but I haven't received any. You will be given 3 minutes to speak. Hearing and seeing no speaker cards on that matter, we'll move on. Item 4 on the agenda is the consent calendar, which is the section of the agenda which consists of items that are acted on in one motion unless a commissioner or a member of the public requests that the commission remove an item from the consent calendar for discussion. By approval of the consent calendar, the staff recommendation will be adopted. If this item is removed from the consent calendar, the commission will follow the procedures described in this agenda for a new public hearing item. The night's motion is, may I have a motion to approve the consent calendar as proposed, or would someone like to remove the item for questions or presentation? The item to be approved is recommendation to approve the Planning Commission meeting minutes of 9/24/25, September 24th. May I have a motion?
I move.
Moved and seconded, I think. Are there any abstentions? Hearing none, may I have a vote? Any objections? Or all in favor say aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nope. The consent calendar item has been adopted. Continued public hearings, since there are none, we'll move on past that to the meat of tonight's agenda, which is a new public hearing, which is a design review request to construct 340 square foot addition over 18 feet in height to an existing 1,954 adjusted square foot single family residence, resulting in a 2,294 square foot single family residence within the Ridgeline overlay. The project site is 101 Hillcrest Drive. And I believe Selena Palmer, our associate planner, is going to make the presentation for this item tonight. Thank you. But before we start, I have to go through some logistical questions. Please confirm any site visits or ex parte communications, starting on my left with Commissioner Doctors.
I visited the site and spoke with no one.
Commissioner Schmidt,
I also visited the site and spoke with no one.
Commissioner Marola.
Visited the site and spoke with no one.
And I visited the site and did happen to run into the homeowner and who allowed me to walk around behind the house to get a better view of the story poles and had a brief chat with the owner. So that should cover it. Please proceed.
All right, thank you. Good evening, Chair Hubnumber and members of the commission. So as we have just heard, the project before you today is a request for design review and special design review to construct a 340 adjusted square foot addition, which is over 18 feet in height, to an existing 1,954 adjusted square foot single-family residence, resulting in a 2,294 square foot single-family residence within the Ridgeline overlay. This project is located at 101 Hillcrest Drive. So you can see the project site and location in relation to the city marked with the pin on this map. Here you can see a more zoomed in map of the project site with the existing parcel outlined in green. It is located on the south side of Hillcrest Drive, approximately 450 feet from the cul-de-sac terminus of Hillcrest Drive. The project site is located in the RL20-R district, which is the residential, low-density, 20,000 square foot minimum lot size with Ridgeline overlay district. The Ridgeline overlay is the green area between the dashed lines, so it's got extra emphasis added here so you can see that. Areas within the Ridgeline overlay have more strict regulations, including limiting development to 500 square feet of floor area and 18 feet in height, or the applicant can apply for design review and special design review, which the applicant has done and why we are here tonight. For the surrounding zoning, the site is surrounded on all sides by other single-family residences in either the RL20-R district, which is the ones within the dashed green lines, and the RL20 district, which is the beige. The site is surrounded by other 1 to 2 story homes. So as an example, you can see the neighboring properties across the street are existing 2-story homes. So going back to the subject site, the site is 30,800 square feet, has an average slope of approximately 29%, and contains 1 existing single-family residence and 1 existing attached ADU approximately where the blue marker is. Here we can see a satellite image showing the existing conditions, then a more zoomed in aerial, and here is the existing view from the public right-of-way. The proposed project would construct a 340 adjusted square foot addition to the single-family residence. Here you can see the plans with slight transparency roughly overlaid onto the existing home to get an idea of the change from the existing home to the new home. And here I've outlined the 340 square foot addition. The proposed addition would be located within the footprint of the existing structure above an existing ADU. So as such, the home would not be located any closer to neighboring properties than it currently is. Included as Table 1 in the staff report is the floor area distribution for the project, which we will go over here, next to a much more zoomed in image of the floor plan. The existing structure includes a main floor of 1,232 square feet, a lower level of 722 square feet, garage of 400 square feet, and an ADU of 1,000 square feet, which comes to a gross floor area total of 3,354 existing square feet. And then with the 400 square foot garage credit and the ADU not counting towards floor area, the existing single-family residence is 1,954 adjusted square feet. And with the 340 square foot addition to the main floor, the proposed project would result in a 2,294 adjusted square foot residence and would result in a FAR of approximately 7.4%. And while it would meet the maximum home size for a 30,800 square foot lot in the RL20 district and the maximum height for a structure in the RO20 district. It is located in the ridgeline overlay, which has the 18-foot height maximum, triggering the design review and special design review. In the staff report for this project, there's a table that compares the proposed home to those within 300 feet of the site. And this project would result in the subject property having an above average total living space with a below average FAR for the neighborhood. As seen in Table 2 of the staff report, the proposed project meets the base development regulations of the RL20 district for a number of parking spaces, both enclosed and unenclosed, the setbacks, and the number of stories. And while it would meet the maximum height for a structure in the RL20 district, it's located in the ridgeline overlay, 18-foot height maximum, triggering design review and special design review. Here we can see how the upper floor for the home proposes to change. So there's a bit of an interior remodel along with the 340 square foot addition, and there are no proposed changes to the other floors. The applicant has put up story poles to show the proposed change, and the images are shown here, first from the front and then the second from the rear. And then here we have the elevations for the proposed project. This is the front. You can see just slightly taller in the back there. The side, so you can see where it pops out above the existing ADU. The rear, the other side. Here we go. Right. One of the permits requested is for residential design review. The standards for design review are seen on the slide here. The proposed addition is located within the footprint of the current structure and will not be any closer to neighboring properties. It has been designed to match the existing structure, utilizes natural materials and earth tones to blend into the neighborhood. And from the street view, there is minimal change to the site. No trees are scheduled to be removed from the site, and so the proposed home would be screened by existing trees and vegetation. Because of the ridgeline overlay and the project exceeding 18 feet in height, it also triggers special design review. So the standards for special design review are seen on the slide here. And the project is in substantial compliance with the hillside and ridgeline design guidelines. It is proposed to be located above the existing ADU, which would require no additional grading and keeps the natural screening from the existing landscaping. 10 days prior to tonight's meeting, the project was noticed. Staff did not receive comments on the proposed project. However, one neighbor did come in to point out that a previous project at the site showed a basement on the plans where the plans for this project did not. So this resulted in the late correspondence that was provided to you where the applicant updated the plans to include the basement, and that's highlighted here. So as stated in the memo, the inclusion of the basement in the plans does not affect the proposed project for a 340 square foot addition, in that the existing basement is exempt from floor area, so it doesn't affect the calculation for maximum home size. And the existing basement is not directly under the proposed addition, so it does not affect the maximum story height calculation. As staff believe the proposed project would meet the standards for design review and special design review, staff recommends the Planning Commission adopt Statement of Official Action SOA-2025-008 approving DRA 2025-011, subject to the conditions of approval.
Thank you very much. First off, do the commissioners have any questions for staff on the project? I'll start to my left and to my right. Seeing none, I just had one question on clarification, I guess, in my mind. The ridgeline overlay zone, even though it's a 20,000 or 30,000 square foot lot, it theoretically says 500 square feet total of developable. I'm just curious about the zone itself. Am I right in understanding that?
Yes, the
So-
ridgeline overlay has specific regulations for a 500 square foot maximum structure and then 18 feet in height, and it has to meet both of those. Otherwise, it triggers design review and special design review.
All right. So we're long past 500 here, but that the other question I had was the section that you showed where the house came up with the 31 square feet in total height over, I'm sorry, I wasn't quite sure. Is that because it goes down and includes that basement to create the 31 feet on the section drawings that were in the packet? This doesn't show it in that drawing, but on the,
I think one of the elevations might show it.
yeah, there it is right there. So that's picking up the basement that doesn't happen to appear on the drawing because it drops down below the floor there, it looks like to me.
Yeah, so it goes about to where the grade is there, but the basement is pretty much under that grade, so that's why it's measuring from that point.
Okay, that, and as I said, that's what I wasn't seeing the basement, I was seeing the 31 feet. Okay, all right, that's why it was that height. That's it for me.
One quick question, if that's okay.
Yes,
Do I understand right from the elevations that there's actually no additional footprint expansion on the ground level? It's all occurs above ground level?
Correct.
on the roof of the ADU. Yeah, yeah. Okay. I'd like to go ahead and invite the applicant to present the application to the commission. You have 10 minutes total. Before you start, how long would you like to reserve for any rebuttal if you have any items to present? Well, there's no forum for this other than if you'd like to make an advocate for your project, we'd like to have you come up to the podium and give us your name and some information.
My name is Elena Chen. I'm one of the
Sorry.
homeowners.
It's okay. No, it's not your fault. I'm going to turn this up.
It's fine. My voice carries. So we have 3 kids who I love dearly, but we have one bathroom they've all decided to use. And so part of our reason for even initially doing this is so my husband and I can have a little personal space and our own bathroom. So that was honestly the big push. What we're really doing is creating a master space for ourselves, because the rest of our lives are very much involved with them. And then my husband loves to cook. Our kitchen right now is it just doesn't function. And so the goal was to build a living space where we can, or a dining space, a place for us, and then a kitchen to actually cook in. We built an ADU for my parents last year and they're now living with us. So we have more mouths sometimes to feed. And so having a bigger space to have a big table where everyone can sit was kind of the goal behind all of this. I don't really have much more to add. That's the why. So, yeah, sorry for making this so complicated for you guys. We really tried to
No,
make it easy, but it never works that way.
that's fine. I will open it up to commissioners if they have any questions for the applicant. Seeing none, hearing none, I don't think there's needing time for any rebuttal. Unless there's anybody else who wants to address the commission before I close the public hearing. Seeing and hearing none, I'm going to close the public hearing. And we're going to bring the matter up here to the dais for discussion amongst the commissioners. If anybody would like to make a comment on the project or have any concerns that they'd like to address at this point.
I think I'll just really briefly state, to me, based on the background information, the presentation, understanding the why, as a mom of 2 small kids myself, the personal space situation is very real. This seems to me like a very reasonable addition, largely working within the envelope of the building, and per the planner's assessment does seem to be in substantial compliance and kind of minimizing sort of any negative impacts to neighbors, et cetera. I understand no trees are coming down. So yeah, to me, it feels very reasonable.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to comment? Then on that note, I will make this real difficult. I need someone to make a motion. Actually, I can do it myself, I think. I'd like to move to approve the application DRA 2025-011, subject to the conditions included, and move to approve that item. Can I have a second?
Second.
Okay.
The motion should be, sorry, it should be to adopt the SOA.
Oh, I thought I said that, to adopt sorry. Statement. SOA, what? SOA, thank you. Statement of official action. Yes, adopted therefore. Again, may I have that motion? May we have a second again, please?
Second.
All those let's roll call vote. Commissioner Doctors,
Aye.
Commissioner Schmidt,
Aye.
Commissioner Marola,
Aye.
Commissioner Hubner is also an aye. The motion carries 4-0. I'd I do have to read, a decision by the planning commission is final unless a written notice of appeal specifying the grounds for the appeal is submitted to the planning department during normal business hours within 10 calendar days with the appropriate fees. The appeal will be considered by the city council. If you or anyone challenges any action on the agenda in court, you may be limited to raising only those issues you or someone else has raised at the public hearing described in this notice or in written correspondence delivered to the planning commission at or prior to the public hearing. The time to file action to challenge the decision is governed by the Code of Civil Procedure, Section 1094.6, and your application is approved. I'm going to wrap up the rest of the agenda items fairly quickly. Any matters the commission needs to bring up? Seeing and hearing none. I have nothing to report. Planning Director LaShawn, do you have any items to add to this evening?
Yes, let me update the planning commission to let you know that the general plan amendments, the zoning text changes, and the downtown objective design standards that meets our housing element number of allocation for units was approved by the city council on the November 3rd.
Very good. Okay. Last item on the agenda, can I have an adjournment? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourned. Thank you very much. And thank you.